Thank you. So I want to share with you tonight a mind-boggling pirush explanation, a novel explanation in the Gemara from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Dovid Yitzchak. And I wish I had the time, but if you look in the Mefarshim afterwards of how he learns a piece of Gemara, you'll see that 20 questions from the Mefarshim fall on a side according to his beautiful beard. So if you we'll go straight to the Gemara. Look at the Gemara said like this. You have it. I hope you have the right page. 29b in Rosh Hashanah. Chav Tes Amud Beis. The Mishnah says like this: Yom Tov Rosh Hashanah Shachalis b'Shabbos. If Rosh Hashanah falls out in Shabbos, that happens once in a while. B'Mikdash Toka'in, they would blow Shofar in the Beis Hamikdash. Avolei b'Medina, but not anywhere in Eretz Yisrael, even in Yerushalayim, in the city, only in the Beis Hamikdash. That's the first halacha in the Mishnah. Then the Gemara goes, let's go straight to the Gemara. In second page in the back, the Gemara asks like this: Minohani Mili. Where's the source that you have, and what's the reason why you don't blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah Shechalis b'Shabbos? It fell out on Shabbos. So Rab Levi Balachma, Rab Chama B'Chanina. Rab Levi said Rab Levi the son of Lachma, Rab Chama the son of Rab Chanina. They said, if you look good in the Torah, you'll see there's a contradiction. It seems like one place in the Torah it says, which is Pashas Emor. Emor is in the middle of the book of Leviticus, in the middle of a Yikra. Over there it says, Shabbos soin zichroin trua. If it falls on a Shabbos, zichroin, you should remember the blowing. Zichroin trua. That means you don't blow. Because of another passage it says in Pashas Pinchas in Bamidbar, Yom trua yilechem. It should be a day of blowing. So it's a contradiction. Here it says, I only remember the blowing, zichroin trua. And here it says, Yom trua. So it says, Rabbi Levi, like Kasha, that's why there's no question. So source in the Torah, Khan over here, where it says zichroin trua, only remember is Yom Tov Shechalis b'Shabbos. That's the Rosh Hashanah falls on a Shabbos, so you say the psukim, the verses that like we do in Shemana Esrei, but you don't actually blow it. Khan over here, where it says Yom Trua, Yom Tov Shechalis b'Choil, if Yom Tov falls out in the weekday. So according to this, is we have a source of Torah why you don't blow shofar and Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara asks two questions, and I'm not going to go inside. I'm not going to go inside. Just tell you outside. The Gemara says, if you tell me that there's a pasuk that says you don't blow on Shabbos, zichroin trua, so how can you blow in the Beis Hamikdash? Also over there, you should just say the psukim. Why do you blow in the Beis Hamikdash? Another thing the Gemara asks, that let's think a second. We know there's 39 malachas of Shabbos. You're not allowed to build, you're not allowed to write. You're doing an action, you're doing a malacha, you're changing something, you're cutting down something, you're planting something. But making a sound from the shofar, what kind of malacha is over there? According to the Gemara, blowing shofar is a talent, it's a chokhmah, it's a wisdom. You could have a very strong person, a 6-footer, big husky guy, and he can't get a sound out of the shofar. You can have a skinny guy who weighs nothing, and he blows beautiful because it's an art, it's a chokhmah. So there's no really malacha. There's making a sound out of a shofar. What kind of malacha is that in Shabbos? From all the 39 malachas, we don't see where I'm doing something wrong on Shabbos. So therefore, why would the Torah say even anywhere in the world, why can't I blow? Then the Gemara says, you're right. Mina Torah, midaraisa, look at the words over here. The Gemara finishes off. It's on the second page over here. Oh, look on top. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Ela Amarava. See? They made the pages over here. Look at Ela Amarava on top. Midaraisa mishveshari. Mina Torah, no problem. You're allowed to. You're right. It's not a malacha. And that's why you can do it any way you want. Mina Torah. V'rabbanon hu the gozer be kiderabba. But this is a gazira, a decree from the Rabbana, from our sages. The Rabbi said like this: everyone is obligated to blow shofar. But the problem is, not everyone is an expert or knows the halachas. And it's not so simple, it's a lot of details that you have to remember. So not everyone knows how to blow the shofar. And we're concerned, let's say a guy thinks he knows, he'll start blowing, and then all of a sudden, he knows it's a mitzvah, deraisa, he has a whole shul, and then he's going to start questioning, did I do it right? Not. What's going to happen? Gizera Shemi Yitlena B'Yodeh, maybe he'll take the shofar in his hand. V'yelech Eitz Laboki, Lilma will go to ask a Rav, did I do it right? And what's going to happen by the end? Ya'vireinu Arba Amos B'Shusharab. He'll come and he'll carry it 4 Amos B'Shusharab, will be even the Issa that I said, on a biblical law. So comes out according to the Gemara, that, Minat Torah, no problem. The whole chashash is only the Rabbi. He asked the Rebbe's father 2 questions. And one is a famous question that everyone struggles to find an answer. The tzlach, if you know, and all of them in Rosh Hashanah, so many Mefarshim Rosh Hashanah, they ask. And all over in Chassidus, they ask this question. If the Torah tells me to do something, how can the Rabbanan come and be oike, take away a mitzvah, a biblical mitzvah from the Torah? If the Shem Eibusher tells you put on tefillin, could the Chacham come and say, no, today you don't have to wear it? No such thing. The Chacham are here only to help you, to increase, to support the laws of the Torah, but they can't take away a mitzvah. The Eibusher says to blow shofar. How can the Chacham come here? And it's only a chashash. It's only a perhaps. And by who? Not by the learned people, only by what's called amarats, and people that are, not so learned. So for such a chashash, you take away such a great mitzvah? This is what everyone asks. How could the Chachamim take away a mitzvah that I see? The other question is that the Rebbe's father asks, Reb Levi, he brought 2 psukim. One pasuk says in Parshas Emma, Zichrin Teruah, only remember it, and Parshas Pinchas says Yom Teruah. And he answers very good. Here it's B'Shabbos, here's B'Choyer. B'Shabbos you only remember. But according to the answer of the final answer from the Gemara, that midaraisa you're allowed to, whether it falls on a Shabbos, whether it falls on the weekday. So the kasha goes back. How do you answer the psukim? Now usually the Gemara always asks, if you learn Gemara, like the other mandama, how do you explain the psukim? How come over here the Gemara didn't ask that question? And the bottom line is how, according to the end of the Gemara, that seems like it's only gzera d'Rabbanan, but minat Torah I could blow anytime, sai b'Shabbos, sai b'choil. So how did they answer the contradictions? That seems like here it says Zichroin, and here it says Yom Teruah. And this is a question that the Rebbe's father asked. And the answer is a beautiful, beautiful answer. He said like this. He says that the Rava who answers this answer, he tells, this is how he learns. He tells Reb Levi, who brought the 2 psukim, he said like this, I agree with your essential concept that when it says Zichrin Teruah it means Shabbos. When it says Yom Teruah means B'choil, means the weekday. I'm not arguing with you about that. I agree with you in essence. But what? The pasuk I learn a little different than you. When I say that you're allowed to, when the pasuk says Zichrin Teruah, you should remember the blowing. You say it means don't blow. Only say the psukim. Just remember. I learn a little different. And in really Talmudic language, Rabbi Hirschberg would love this, it's a difference of chefze and gavra. Whether I'm talking about the shofar or I'm talking about the person. Rabbi Levi learns you're talking about the shofar. David says, don't blow this shofar, remember it. I say, says Rava, the pasuk is talking to the person, which means you're allowed to blow it, but then I'm telling the person, hey, you can blow the shofar on one condition. I want you, the blower, to zichron. You should remember. What should you remember? Look at the word before, look at the word after. The word before is Shabbosoin. Look at the pasuk, Shabbosoin zichrin teruah. You should remember that it's Shabbos. That means you should have in mind, and you should alert yourself, be conscious of the fact it's Shabbos today. And I trust you that you won't be over Shabbos. But I want you just to remember in your mind that today is Shabbos. And you'll know that you have to, let it carry outside. So if you get confused, you won't go ask it off. And not only that, furthermore, Zichroin, the next word is Teruah, means learn the halach is good. So you'll know it very, very well. You won't have to come to a problem. It's just like, for an example, a regular Yom Tov comes the weekday, no problem. But if it falls out what? If a Yom Tov falls out Thursday, Friday, we have to make an Erev. So an Erev is a reminder, many, many other things like that. If you look at Chumash Osher, the Eibishter told Yidden, you could build a Mishkan, one condition, but don't do it on Shabbos. The first Rashi, Parshas Vayakil, Rashi says, Moshe Rabbeinu told the Yidden, you could build the Mishkan, no problem, but before I get to the Mishkan, I have to set the rules down. No Shabbos, no work on Shabbos. Similar over here, that Hashem said, I tells the person, I allow you, I trust you, you can blow on Shabbos, but what? Remember you, the person, Zichron, you should remember that it's Shabbos, and therefore, what am I concerned about? That you should, chas v'sholom, if you get stuck, don't carry the shofar outside. Remember the day is Shabbos. And also, prepare yourself well, Zichron Teruah, learn the halachas well, so you won't have to go to a Rav. So now, this is what the Rav tells Rabbi Levi. And this answers the question, how could the Chacham come and take away? The Chacham say, we're not the ones who introduced or invented this chashash, or perhaps a person will carry in the street. The Torah itself was the one who brought up this concern. The Torah tells a person, it's not like a t'nai, I can't say it's a condition. The Torah tells the person, I trust you and I let you blow on Shabbos, but I want you to remember that it's Shabbos. I want you to remember to blow the shofar good. When the Chacham saw that Yidden were a little laxed about it, and there were people who didn't know, like the Gemara says, not everyone was bucky in it. And you have to understand, those days there was no, like you have today, you could look up on everything. There was no printing press. There was no nothing. Everything you had to remember in your mind. It wasn't so easy. So many halachas. You learn today, someone who learns the halachas of tkiyas, you really have to know what you're doing. And, if you make a mistake, when do you have to take a breath? Each time. It's very complicated halachas. So the Chacham saw that people are not doing so well. So they made a gzira. They said, that since the Eibush himself was so concerned about Shabbos, with the weather, the blowing, so the Eibush there, who's like very good, looks at everything positive, trusted people and said, you could do it. But the Chacham saw that some people didn't remember, so they made a gzira, and now nobody could do it because we base on the chashash, the concern that the Torah itself brought up. We're not the ones who introduced it. We learned it out from the Torah. So if we would come ourselves and we would make a new halacha and take away something from the Torah, that we're not allowed to do. But if we see that the Eibush himself was so concerned about Shabbos, and we see Taka that now Yidden are being over it, so we have to make a gzira that if 2 days fall at Rosh Hashanah, and that year you'll only have 1 day blowing, we're not being oiked the whole mitzvah, only 1 day, and say Shabbos is so important that you should not be over, because we see that Hashem himself emphasized that you got to remember, you have to really be on alert and be conscious of the fact that it's Shabbos, and therefore you're not allowed to blow on that day. So it comes out like this. According to the Rabbi Levi, the first mandam of the Gemara, he learns, when it says Zichron Torah means, we're talking about the shofar, the chefza. Yom Tru on the weekday, blow. Shabbos, no, you can't blow, we're talking about the shofar. The end of the Gemara says is, I also learned the same thing. When it says Yom Teruah means the weekday, when it says Zichron Teruah means on Shabbos. But the Zichron is not going on the shofar, it's going on the person. I agree with you. The fact itself, we're talking about Shabbos, yes. That you should remember today, Shabbos, you could blow in that raisa, midrabanan is the gzira, and therefore, that's why the Gemara doesn't ask, hey, well, how do you explain the psukim? Because he says, I agree with the essential concept that here it's Shabbos. When it says Yom Teruah, it's B'choil. When it says Zichron Teruah, it means on Shabbos. But the taich is different. What should you remember? Should you remember the shofar, or it's going on the person? You should be in alert in your mind. You should be conscious of the fact. You should remember the laws of Shabbos, and also you should know well the laws of shofar. Okay, this is a beautiful pshat of how the Rebbe's father learns this Gemara. He answers 2 questions in 1 shot. With this, I'll share with you.
How does it fit with the end of the Gemara with Gzeira Shami Yitlan B'Yadai?
Yeah.
According to the way of Levi learning.
Rabbi Levi or Rabba?
Levi.
Levi is the first mandama.
Yeah, the first mandama.
Yeah. He doesn't hold of the Gzeira.
So he doesn't really hold of the Gzeira. It's more that Rabbi Levi is explaining that it's there that the Chachamim are getting the Eibush already. Hashem already saw that there could be a person making mistake, not knowing the halacha so properly.
Right.
But the idea of saying that maybe you're going to go 4 amas isn't that looking in a way that's not more the halachas. It's more about why is that prat important?
No, because
that you might carry 4 amas.
Yeah,
the fact that wouldn't it fit more to just say.
No, I'll tell you why. No, because because the Rebbe's father learns that. That's why the Gemara. I want to bring out this point. If you look in the Yerushalmi, I made a copy over here, and you'll see according to there's another question before Shem ask. The pasuk says these words, 3 words: Shabbosoin, Zichroin Truah. The proof of Rabbi Levi is here. It says the word Zichroin Truah. Remember the blowing. That's what we're talking about the Shofar. And here it says Yom Truah, day of blowing. The word Shabbosoin over here, right, is not really part of the proof. The Ikar proof, it says the word here Zichroin, and here it says Truah. One day you blow, one day you remember. In the Yerushalmi, if you look, I have a copy over here. If you look over there, Taki doesn't say the word Shabbosoin. The Rebbe's father, according to his prat, it makes sense why the Gemara does bring that word, because the Zichron I said before, what should you remember? Look at the word before, look at the word after. The word before is Shabbos. So remember today's Shabbos, and therefore what? You will not be over, you won't go dal dam shusarab. So that's the first thing that you should remember. And then also remember that to blow well, so you won't even have to come to be confused. Perhaps you won't do it right, then you're going to come to ask a Rav on Shabbos. So it's so beautiful why the Gemara Dafkin Bavli adds that word to tell you should remember 2 things. Look at the word before, look at the word after. And that's why the Gemara brings that chashash. But what should be concerned about Shabbos? I should know today's Shabbos. What's the problem? The problem is if you're not going to know the halachas, well, you're going to go ask a Rav. You're going to carry Rabbi Shus Rabbim. That's the problem. Okay. Yeah?
The first Monday Omar doesn't really explain why in the Mikdash they would still blow the shofar. Just Rabban, I'm saying.
Correct.
So it's not really a machlokes.
And you should know the Gemara, there are Mefarshim who asked that question. You look at a lot of Mefarshim who discuss that question. But our discussion over here, that's a very good question, but that's not. Here we're talking about the answer of Kam B'Choel, Kam B'Shabbos. You're right. How does the first Mandam answer both of these questions? It's not a malacha, and it's also how the Mishmikdash. There are Mefarshim who explain Shittas Rabbi Levi. That's a whole Lomdisha discussion. Correct. Yeah, you had a question? Oh. So, everything good? Anyone? Is it clear? Any questions? Now, I want to show you something, a very interesting thing now. I'm going to share with you 2 beautiful things. According to the Rebbe's father, who learns, remember one phenomenal thing, because other Mefarshim do not learn like this, that according to the Maskana of the Gemara, according to Rava, how does he explain the 2 psukim? One place it says Zichroin, in one place it says Yom Teruah. He also agrees with the premise. Yom Teruah means blow, that means the weekday. Zichroin Teruah means on Shabbos. And the only thing is, I'm not talking about the shofar, I'm talking about the person. I let you blow according to the Torah, but just remember about Shabbos and not remember the blowing. Which is in Pashas Emor. Based on this, I want to share with you 2 beautiful things. And one thing is, I'm asking an interesting question. There's a rule we have in Torah that when you have 2 things, you know what you do first? It says there's a klal, todeh v'she'ena todeh, something that's more common, something that's less common. The practice of what's more common gets preference. So Elam Mefarshim asked an incredible question. The first time the Torah mentions Shabbos in the Torah is Pashas Emor, there it says what? Zichron Teruah. Remember the blowing, however you learn. When does the Torah say Yom Teruah? Is Pashas Pinchas all the way in Bamidbar. And that's B'choil. Rosh Hashanah fall on the weekday is more common than when it falls on a Shabbos. So how come the Torah, the first time it mentions Shofar, says the word Zichron Teruah, and that's B'Shabbos? According to Rabbi Levi, you don't blow. According to the Rabbi, you do blow. Just remember in the Torah. Why does the Torah talk about Rosh Hashanah Chalis B'Shabbos first? Look at this beautiful thing. There's a sefer on Chumash called Naftali Svar Rotzain. He asked this question. It was printed over 420 years ago. Shin Samachay. And a few years ago, it was printed only once, 420 years ago. They printed it a few years ago, and that's just roll, new print. And he answers a brilliant answer. He said like this. We all know the Gemara says that a person should not go by 3 days without reading from the Torah. So we know like this, Shabbos, the Eibishter gave us the Torah. That's why we read Shabbos in Shul, we read a Parsha. So that's a given. Then the Gemara asked, then the Meforshim asked, Tosfos asked this question actually, Baba Kama, that Pei Beis you could look up on Omar Aleph, that if it's 3 days I have to read Torah, so if I have to blow Shabbos, so I could read Monday or Tuesday, or I could read Wednesday, Thursday. No, I won't go by 3 days. Why did we pick Dafka Monday and Thursday? And Tosfos answers a very beautiful answer. He says, the Medrash says in Tanchuma, and if you look up in Chumash, if you look Chitas good and Rashi, you'll see it fits very, very well. That the Eibishter wanted to hint to the Yidden of how the Torah was given to the Yidden. So like I mentioned before, Shabbos was the first time Hashem said Aser Sadibros. Hashem came down on Matan Torah was on Shabbos. Then, we all know there was a problem. 40 days after Moshe Rabbeinu went up, he came down, he saw there was a problem with the Chet HaEgel, he broke the Luchas. And then he went up again and davened another 40 days to the Eibishter, called Yemei Rotzoin. And the days of Tefillah. And then, finally, the last 40 days, he went up and he came down with the Luchas Shneers that completed the process of the giving of the Torah. When did he come down? On Yom Kippur. That's why Yom Kippur is so special, because Yom Kippur is the day that completes Matan Torah. And that day we receive the Luchas Shneers, and the second Luchas. And that's the reason, by the way, it says in Chassidus, how come we don't make Simchas Torah on Shavuos? How come it's the end of Sukkot? And the answer is very simple, because the completion of the Torah happened on Yom Kippur, and the first opportunity after Yom Kippur, after Sukkot, we right away dance with the Sefer Torah. And that's the reason why Simchas Torah is right after Yom Kippur. It's a connection, because that's the time we got the Luchas Shneers. Now it says in Medrash, you look at it in Rashi, Moshe Rabbeinu went up on a Thursday to go up on the mountain to receive the second Luchas. He was there for 40 days. When did he come down? Make a calculation, 40 days from a Thursday, you'll get a Monday. Yom Kippur, the first Yom Kippur, after the Yidden got the Torah, which means the first Yom Kippur of history, fell out on Monday. Since the last Luchas, which completed Matan Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu went up on a Thursday, came down on a Monday. Therefore, to commemorate that, we also, in our shul, every week, we read Torah, Dafka Monday, Dafka Thursday, to remember the Luchas Shneir. This is what Tosfos answers. Now, I'm going to ask you a very simple calculation. If the first Yom Kippur, these who know the calendar very well, every Gabbai should know. If the first Yom Kippur fell out on a Monday according to Tosfos, and that's the 10th day of the year, 10 days earlier would be what day? Huh? If Yom Kippur is on a Shabbos, is on a Monday, Rosh Hashanah will be 10 days earlier, Shabbos. 10 days earlier than Monday is a Shabbos. Huh? 10 days. Count, go back, you see. Monday, Sunday, Shabbos, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Shabbos. 10 days earlier, falls at exactly on Shabbos. So it comes out, according to Tosfos, something unbelievable. The first Rosh Hashanah of history fell out on Shabbos from Matan Torah. Now it's so beautiful. The Torah was written according to the sequence and the time of how Rosh Hashanah fell out. According to that, so according to this Torah, it says that's why the Torah says what? The first time Zichron Teruah, because Rosh Hashanah fell out on Shabbos. So this fits very, very well if you learn like the Rebbe's father learns, like the Maskon of the Gemara. We also learned that Zichron Teruah was on Shabbos. According to this, it makes very much sense why the Torah wrote first Zichron and then later on in Pashas Pinchas Yom Teruah, because in the order how the Yidden kept the mitzvah, that's how it was. The first year was on Shabbos, and therefore it says Zichron Teruah. Remember, that's going to be Shabbos. And the second time it says on was in the weekday. One more.
I'm sure the first time they didn't know what they were doing.
No. If you make a simple calculation.
They didn't blow. You're
No,
saying
no,
they didn't blow.
no. I want to tell you something interesting thing. The first time, but because of the Chet Egel, I don't know if they blew the first time, but you have to understand, when the Eibishter wrote the Torah, okay, the Eibishter hopes that Yidden won't do any Averis. He looks very positive of Yidden. When the Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu to come up on the mountain and get the luchas, the first luchas, he was hoping in 40 days there won't be any problem, there won't be any shvius haluchas. So the Torah was written in the Shemayim in a way very positive about the Yidden. He didn't think of any Averis. And therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu would have been down from the mountain by the first luchas, which means in the summertime, the end of Tammuz, 40 days after Shavuos. And then there would have been enough time for Moshe Rabbeinu to teach them about Rosh Hashanah, and he would have told them, that today, according to Rabbi Levi, you don't blow, and according to Rabbi, you do blow, but just remember, there's the Aldam, it's just like the Mishkan. Also, the Eibishter said you can blow, you can build, but no Shabbos. The Poyel, Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't here; he was on the mountain. So if they blew or not, I don't know. But that's not the gay to why in Emor the Eibishter wrote in the Torah Zichron through first, because that's the way it would have fallen out according to the calendar of how it went. One more thing I'll share with you, a beautiful, beautiful thing, and that is the sefer called the Oinig Yom Tov, a Goren Otzum, and he says if you look in a very interesting diak on Chumash, if you look in Parshas Emor, where it starts off, it speaks all about the Yom Tovim. So it says like this: B'chodesh Hashvi, in the 7th month, B'echad LaChodesh, in the first day of the month. What? Zichron Tru. Remember that you should remember that Shabbos, Then, a few psukim later, it starts off, it tells you, U'be'eser, on the 10th day of this month, it adds the word Hazeh. In the 10th day of this month, adds the word Hazeh, you have to fast. A few psukim later, it continues. On the 15th day, Lachodesh Hashvi Hazeh. On the 15th day will be Sukkos, eating the Sukkah. But then a few psukim later, it says, B'chodesh Hashvi, on the 15th day, on the 7th month, which is the same month, the 15th day of the month, you should take your lulav and esrog. And he doesn't say the word Hazeh. By Yom Kippur, he says the word this month. A few psukim later, by Sukkot, he says this month. But by lulav and esrog, he doesn't say this 7th month. Why does he leave out the word Hazeh? The other times he says it. And he answers a beautiful Torah. He says, since the rule is that every year, if Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, guaranteed the first day of Sukkot will also be on Shabbos. That's the way it is, guaranteed. First day of the month, the 15th day of the month is exactly the same day of the week. So now he explains the psukim so well. David tells a Yid like this. Chodesh Hashvi, the 7th month of the year, Bechad LaChodesh, Rosh Hashanah, first day, Zichron Teruah. However you learned that, we said before, according to Rabbi Levi, you don't blow. According to Rabbi, you do blow, just remember. But everyone says it's talking about Shabbos. That same year, that same sequence, comes Yom Kippur. This Kviyas Yom Kippur, you always fast. Whether it falls on Shabbos, falls on a weekday, you always fast. Sukkot, the rule is, even if it falls on a Shabbos, even if it falls on a weekday, we eat in the sukkah, no problem, no big deal. Sukkah is not a chokhmah. You just tell a person, go into your sukkah, eat challah, make kiddush, nothing to ask God about. There's no gazira about sukkah and Shabbos. But when it comes to lulav, the Torah left out the word hazeh, because on this kviyas, if sukkah falls out on the first day on Shabbos, I don't blow, I don't, just like I don't blow shofar, I also don't shake lulav and esrog.
Rabbi says you do.
Huh?
Rabbi says you do.
No, Rabbi says it's gzira of the Rabbanan. No. According to everyone, there's the Rice and then there's the Rabbanan. according to everybody, the psukim is talking about the psukim is talking about all these psukim are talking about if Rosh Hashanah falls on a Shabbos. Yeah, Mina Torah, the Torah is hinting to you, right, that you have to remember something about Shabbos, and also the Torah hinted that if it falls out on Lulav, yeah, then there's going to be a gzera in the future that, just like similar to Zichron, there's going to be a gzera that what we don't blow on Shabbos. The main point is that if you learn according to this pshat, the hazeh, it fits very well. If you learn like the Rebbe's father, that the first time it mentions when it says Zichron Trua, you're referring to Shabbos.